Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all had a wonderful and safe Christmas. I truly enjoyed my Christmas with my children and with my family. I just wanted to come on, don't want to tarry very long. But on yesterday, being with family, I kept hearing the word elevation all day yesterday, elevation. And so last night, when I went to sleep, I had a two-part dream. And it was odd. First and foremost, I've never had a two-part dream. It was almost like when I had the first part of the dream, I woke up just so that I can gather and understand that part. And then I ended up going back to sleep and I had the second part. And when I woke up this morning, I heard elevation again. And it made me think about when I worked in the office. Um, when I used to work in the office, now I work from home, but when I used to work, I worked for the state. Okay. And I used to work on the fourth floor. And when working in the office, in order for me to get to the fourth floor, there were these set of elevators. And it was a lot of elevators there, of course, because, when you're working for the state, there are a bunch of different departments in that building because you had a north side and you had a south side. So, of course, you had a bunch of departments that people worked in different floors. So, anyway, I remember one day I was standing at these elevators and I was the only person standing there. And that was odd because that rarely happens. Anytime you get to these elevators, there is always somebody standing at these elevators because that's just how busy that office was. But nonetheless, I remember standing at these elevators and I was the only one standing there. As I waited for my elevators, it was like I could hear God, say certain things to me. And then I remember, as I was remembering that, God was showing me that, oftentimes you have to stand alone through the hard part. But right before elevation comes, that's when everybody wants to step in for a piece of it. And just as the elevator was coming down, because of course, with some elevators, you can see when it's almost at your floor. Right when the elevator was getting ready to come to pick me up, it's like people just started coming from every direction because, it was open from all sides for people to come and grab the elevator. And it was like everybody, like they just came from nowhere. In the moment that elevator dinged and opened up the door, everybody just brushed past me and jumped on that elevator. And it was like, are you kidding me? And it was like, before I knew it, the elevator had crowded just that quick. And I was the one that called for that elevator because no one else was waiting for it. I was the one standing and waiting for it. Catch what I'm saying to y'all. I stood that whole time patiently waiting for that elevator by myself because no one else was there. I waited, but the moment my time had arrived, people were coming from every direction. And the minute the doors opened, everyone popped up and got on board. It was enough room for me to get on the elevator. And I said, Lord, here I am again in the back. I stood through this by myself. And now, right when it's time for me to get blessed, people are popping up out of nowhere and they're taking what belongs to me. And here I am, I'm still stuck in the back of the line, and they didn't even have to wait on their blessing because I was the one that gave them the blessing. Because I basically was standing there waiting on it, and then they just popped up, and bam, soon as they popped up, the blessing was there. But I was the one that had to stand in the midst. But when I turned around after walking on the elevator, catch this, y'all. When I turned around and the elevator doors closed, God then showed me, now you're in front of the line. When it appeared that you were last, now you're in the front. In order for any of those people to get off and to make any moves, they have to go past you. And I'm standing here like, my God. They cannot move unless I move. They cannot get off unless I move. So now it's like basically I'm in charge. I'm in the front of the line. They have to go by what I do. And then as the elevator took off, it stopped at every floor. And I'm like, Lord, I'm never going to get to the 4th floor. Oh my God. I stood forever waiting for this elevator to come. Then I had to wait for everybody to jump in front of me to get on this elevator. Now I have to stop at every single floor for the elevator to, for people to get off this elevator. When am I going to get to my floor? It's going to make me late. You're never going to be late to where God is taking you to. God doesn't operate in time. You're going to arrive at the time God has already appointed. Because there is going to be some people you're going to have to drop off along the way. You can't those people cannot elevate with you. So you're going to have to drop them off along the way. Remember, you're standing in the front of the line. You're going to have to step aside and drop them off. Let them go. It's your turn to elevate. And when I got to the 4th floor, I was the only person still standing on that elevator, just as I was waiting for that elevator. I truly hope that what I said, you could catch the message in it. Because understand, one thing is for sure, everybody cannot go, but God is elevating. And you're not going to always understand the process or the criteria. You're not going to understand the timing. You're going to get frustrated. But no, God knows exactly what he is doing. And he is a God that does everything in order. He knows what he's doing. Trust him. Trust him. Because he's taken us higher and higher and higher. It may seem like you're at a standstill. It may seem like, you're right at the brink of your breakthrough, and then all this other stuff start falling apart, or, people just start showing up. God knows what he's doing. He'll just put you on pause when them people start showing up. He'll just pause everything. When it seems like you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then you feel like you're pressed to the back of the line, God said, no, I haven't put you in the back. It seems that way to you, but I know how it turns out. Wait for him, y'all. Be patient. Don't grow weary. You're being elevated.